Hey. I wanted to give a quick walkthrough on how I moved my iron farm underground, and it sits right next to my base. It was a bit of an eyesore, so I wanted to move it underground. Followed the wiki article and made sure there was enough space for it, and it was still within range of me, so that I keep getting iron golem spawning and getting tons of iron as I work around in my base. Went ahead and put in the description. There is a list of items you'll need for this farm. Pretty simple list. And then I also list some very quick stats on what you're needing to know around villagers and around the space requirement on it. That way, it's very quick, handy kind of walkthrough and checklist. So, here we go.
Ooh, all right. I'm going to go ahead and get started on moving this iron farm right here underground. I have it near my base. It's been producing tons of iron for me, but it's kind of an eyesore on the landscape, and I want to do some landscaping. I'm going to go ahead and move it underground. First thing to note is iron farms do have to be within 80 blocks away from you. And you ideally want to have it, vertically about 44 blocks from where you're typically working at. And I'm going to put mine pretty deep underground because my base is mostly underground, or at least all of my farms. It's got to be pretty far away from that village over there. You want to be 100 meters, 100 blocks away from the village. But the iron farm itself isn't that tall. It's only about 13 blocks tall. If you really calculate it, I suggest about 20 blocks in terms of digging a giant hole. And we're going to go ahead and get started on building a big hole. It's going to take me a little bit of while, but I'll go ahead and run a time lapse for that. And there we go. We have a really large hole that I dug. Just to give you dimensions, this is a 21 by, I think it's close to like 40-ish by 23. You do want it to at least be 21 in width, and then in depth, you want it to be about 23. That's to fit the actual size of not only the spawning radius, but also where you put your villagers. I've kind of mapped out the space so you could see that right above me. It fits exactly to that space and a little bit of room in the front just so that you could put the villagers and you have a little extra space there. But we're going to go ahead and actually put the platform in. There's two spawning platforms. You want to put the first one four up. That way you have enough room from the top or the bottom spawning platform, the point of interest, and the floor. You don't want iron golems spawning on the floor. And then I'm going to go ahead and start building this spawning platform. If you look at the spawning platform, it's a 19 by 19 spawning platform. I'm building the border of this right now, and I'm doing it by just lining up with the iron farm above. Now, if you don't have one above you, 19 by 19 is the dimension. Just so that you could, I'll go ahead and count some of this out here so I know I'm making the right length. You can see it's a 19 by 19. There we go. And sure enough, you could see it matches in width. There's going to be one space around it and that's for the border. Borders need to be made out of slabs, so I'll have a slab border on the outside. That's to keep some of the water in, actually. And then uh, with that border, um, you'll be able to place your water drops, your water area. So, and then in the corners, we're going to build a little bit of a riser on each one of the corners. But this is the border here. A few things to note. You could see my base is really deep from this wall. You could see it really well. I do suggest putting yours close to the surface, as close to the surface as possible. Again, the actual farm is about 13 meters in height, so you could put it really close to the surface. Mine's actually really deep, so and that's because my base is really deep. So. And quick transition, here is the actual platform filled out. This is the first platform. You want to actually, after you've built this first platform, go ahead and actually measure off and put some corners on it. So these corners are so that you could actually build a water flow from each one of the corners that are going to push the iron golems into the center. So you can see here, I'm building out a quick little border. There we go. There's one corner done. Go ahead and clear this out here real quick. And let me go get this other corner complete. Boom. And boom. There we go. Let's go get this last one. Don't need that anymore. There we go. And then one final one right here. Go and reach that. All right. All right, let me go ahead and make some slabs real quick, and we'll go ahead and fill in a border along the perimeter of this. You could use any stone you want. You don't have to use, these deep slate slabs. I got tons of deep slate, obviously from digging below my base. So I'm going to use some polished deep slate. I'll give it a nice look. You could really use anything you want, just as long as it's solid blocks. Something that's not burnable. Don't use wood. We are going to have lava in the center of this farm. You don't want any risk of lighting anything up. So now you do want half slabs, some slabs here, and you want to place them on the bottom section of the slabs. You don't want the iron golems to spawn on top of these slabs. So if you put it on the bottom part, then you'll have no chance of them spawning. So, and then after I've got that border built out, you want to go ahead and measure in the center, the exact center of this space, a 3 by 3 cube, and that's going to be where the iron golems were going to be pushed by water into the center and into a killing chamber in the middle. And I think it's right about here. There we go. Awesome. There we go. There's my little cube space, a little drop point. All right. That looks pretty good. Seems to measure out good. Yep, that's right. And it lines up. Wait, make sure that's lined up there. There we go. All right. Next is there are actually 2 spawning platforms, so we want to increase the chance of our golem spawning. Um, if you look at the algorithm, there's a 1 in 700 per tick chance of a spawn. So it's gonna look for any kind of radius on the spawning platform, and it's gonna select a spot. So we have 2 platforms so that it could actually select a spot below or above. It kind of doubles your chance of getting a iron golem to spawn. So we want the second platform up here. so that we got better chance of spawning, give us better spawn rate. The second platform is going to look the same as the first platform. So we want some space for the golem to spawn above it. So it's really about 4 up. And then you just want to build out the same 19 by 19 platform as we did before. Let's go ahead and start getting that put in. Pretty tedious task when you do this in survival, trying to avoid mobs, but then at the same time we're trying to build as you go. There we go. It's right there. Get that perimeter built. There we go. Da, da, da. Yep, making sure this lines up. Since this is going underground, you want to make sure these dimensions are just perfect. Everything lines up perfectly. I have solid walls on all sides if you didn't notice. Fill in any of the gaps. Make sure nothing gets spawned in those gaps. This is a solid area. Go. I do actually have a zombie spawner on one of these walls, and I'll maybe show that after I get everything put in, but it's kind of part of why I want to put the iron farm underground. I could put it right next to that zombie spawner, have it spit out into this area. There we go. And that's our perimeter. I've just got to fill this in. And there it is, filled in with the border and the space cut out on the second block. You see there's 2 layers to this. Now that we got these 2 platforms, the next step is we need to actually fill this with water. So let me go ahead and quick make a infinite water source. All you need is 2 buckets to really fill this in. You're gonna get as many buckets as you want, but if you're building an iron farm for the first time, you don't have a lot of iron, so 2 buckets is more than enough. There we go. Got my infinite water source. And now I could go ahead and start filling. So I have quite a few buckets actually. Just saves me some trips. Start by putting it on the corners. You can see you could place right on the corner there in that slab, in between those 2 half slabs and the solid block. And it fills out those corners. I'm going to go and place one over here on this side too. Oop, there we go. All right. You can see that covers much of the area for this space, this location. Let me go ahead and start filling in the extra. So you can see as I fill this in, it starts to push the water out. All I'm doing is I'm placing water sources on this border every few blocks. And they'll start to fill in the edges. Keep refilling your buckets. Just work your way along the edge, filling in some water sources. There we go. That's looking good. All right. And there we go. A little bit more. Let me get some more water here. Boop, boop, boop. Almost there. All right. That section looks good. One right here. There. All right. Now you can see they're all going in the right direction. And that's what it looks after you've filled in each one of the four sides for each one of the platforms. It should look just like this. All right. Water sources are done. Next, we move on and see if we can't build out the rest of this farm. Looks pretty good. It's a little dark in here, so I'm going to probably light this up as well. Yeah, just it you don't want anything else spawning in this area. It's just going to create more problems. Yeah, if you look over here, it's pretty dark. There we go. There we go. Yeah, some over here. That looks better. Just put up some few torches. I don't need this to look too nice. It's going to be underground. Nobody's going to see it. So. And here's the kill chamber. I wouldn't have built this off camera, but I'm going to go ahead and do some circles around it. So this is what you put underneath it. It's a 3x3 glass, two height glass block here. That doesn't belong there. And then you could see I put buttons in the middle of those 3x3 sections. And then if you place a couple signs, one on the wall and one when you crouch down right on top of that, then what that does is it creates a little pocket in the middle so you could put lava. If you don't have lava, which early on in the game, you typically don't, so you could actually put campfires on the bottom and collect your iron that way. Put a campfire in the corner here because the water is going to push cats into that campfire and you'll gain string from that. So. And next step is to go ahead and build some beds for our villagers. I've already loaded the villagers into this chamber over here. This chamber is just a one spot chamber with water dumped in the bottom of it. So the villagers are bouncing around in there. Remember, my farm already exists, so I had the villagers above. I just dropped them down into it. But it's just a one block space for them to be housed in, and then I have them blocked on all sides, with the exception of a glass pane that they have right there in the corner. So now you want to place 20 beds here. These beds, you need to make sure that the pillow is facing towards the inside. Um, and when you're placing the beds, you'll see green uh, sparks that show up on top of the bed, and that means that they've adjusted to match that bed. Not all of them will show that, but that means they're actually re assigning to those particular beds. And once you've gotten all 20 in, you'll start to notice cats will begin spawning right away. So, but I went ahead and placed all the beds in within the line of sight. So they have to be line of sight for Bedrock. Um, you want to put these pillows towards the center, so the point of interest is toward the center. What I mean by point of interest is basically one of these spots on top of the pillows of the beds is the actual center of this village. Um, and the way it works is you could have an iron golem spawn within a 16 by 6 by 16 radius of that point of interest. Now that's 6 in height above or below, so that's why you need to make sure there's enough space below the farm, and then you need to make sure that there's space above the farm for a golem to be able to spawn on these two platforms, and then 16 on both sides. That's why the platform's so wide on both sides, and then solid rock next to that. So as long as you have that sphere open, that 16 by 6 by 16, I guess it'd be a blight spheroid, um, then it should be able to spawn within that space. So you see all the villagers can see these beds, and I got the beds on the platform. And after you've placed all these beds right underneath the top platform, the next step is to get rid of all this extra debris here. Get over to this one. There we go. Two more. Boom and boom. All right. Got all my beds placed. I can all see them. Looks good. All right, let's get rid of some of this stuff. There we go. There's a cat that already spawned. That's a good indicator that all of our beds are placed and the villagers are attached to those beds. Cats will start to spawn and they'll drop into the kill chamber. There we go, cleared all that. Now I'm going to place the lava in there. Got to be real careful in placing this lava. Got to make sure it's right in the center. Boom. And then you want to place some water down at the bottom. That's going to push that cat. Well, the cat got out. Well, it's because I have a space over there. I haven't blocked it off yet. But that will push the cats into that fire. Now let's get rid of all these extra blocks. All those blocks are going to collect in the chest down there. There we go. Clean up, clean up. Looking good, looking good. Be careful you don't fall in the lava. This is why I don't light the lava until the very end. Get rid of all that. All right, now let's crawl out of here. And our kill chamber should be set up below. Both of our platforms are set up, our bed's set up. There we go, looking good. And then last but not least, yeah, there it is. Looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and seal this off here. Boop. And there we go. No cats can get out. Go ahead and sleep. All right. All right, finally, let's go ahead and they could see the beds. We slept through a night. Now we got to give them professions. So this is probably the trickiest part of this process. You want to make sure that each one of these villagers has a profession. I believe 75% of the villagers have to have had a profession for a full day. So, and how I achieve that is not by just giving them 10 profession blocks. So these are fletching tables. I actually put out 12. But you'll see as you break these blocks in place, one of the fletching tables, a green sparkle will appear. That means they are attached to that particular profession, to that particular work table. And I'll keep placing these around so they'll keep reassigning to them. Work my way around. There we go. You can see in there already that they're all wearing the fletching hats. So. All right, let me get up here, place some more. Look at all those fletching hats. Nice. Another green spark. That way, if you place too many fletching tables, they still just switch between one or the other. They eventually find a table, and they'll be constantly doing this as they're bouncing around in there. I'm gonna add, need a little bit more on top here. There we go. All right, looking good. Got a lot of fletching tables. Farm's looking pretty good. See if anything spawns. Now, if they weren't working all day, then it could take about a day for a golem to spawn. So see them, yeah, they all got a profession. I don't see any without a profession. They all got the hat on. So part of why I like using fletching tables is you could see their hat. It's pretty easily identifiable as they're bouncing around. Perfect. Looks like they are all holding on to their profession just fine. So, all right, sealed it up. And let's see if we get any spawns. Oh, there it is. Yeah, perfect. Oh, yes. And we have success. That's good. Well, we've already gotten a few actually. Didn't even notice. That'll work. See if we see any more drop in. All right, got a lot more tidying up to do, but it looks like it's a success.
And voila, that is where my iron farm was. I went ahead and did some landscaping around it. You can see, don't really see any torches, don't really see any kind of ugly hovering farm above it. And then I built up the hill a little bit so that have a little space. It looks pretty natural. And then I went in and put in some dark oak trees along with it and a whole bunch of beehives. I migrated natural beehives from the surrounding area and moved them over here. So looks really good. Looks very natural over here. Nice little grassy space with lots of flowers and bees. Looks really good. But over here you can see, oh, there's a little space behind this bush. Oh, there's my farm. Perfect. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and drop down into it. All right. I had already alluded to this. Here's where the drop point for my zombie spawner is, so I could get some XP from it. And then here's the same iron farm right here. Built a bubble elevator to go back up. A little space in case I want to sleep while I'm down here. Already lit one up while I'm here. Here's my zombie spawner. Looks pretty good. Yeah, there's a few zombies dropping in. And there we are. Simple up and down. There's my base. There's the village, and there's where the iron farm is. All right, hope everybody enjoyed. See you next time.